Ben, my friend, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's up, man?
Loud and clear. Episode number, I keep trying to say 11, but this is number 12.
12.
12 little 21 pilots. You know there is a connection there somewhere. Everybody's favorite band, especially for the youngsters.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the connection. Sorry about that.
Well, that's got to come later. I'm gonna leave you hanging for a little while.
Oh, gotcha.
I got to keep you engaged. That's the name of the game. Roblox. Is it the next Facebook of the metaverse? But before we answer that question, we probably better have your disclaimer and this week's news.
We will be talking about different ways you can invest in this project and others, but nothing that we say is meant to be financial advice. It is all for educational and informational purposes only. Do your own research. First things first, the news for today. This will tie into the metaverse that we're covering later in the episode. But just a few days ago, the Roblox CEO got his $233 million pay package. This is the difference between a small decentralized startup and a company that's gone public, that's been around for a while. His pay package over the next however many years that was for is bigger than the market cap of most of the projects that we've looked at. So pretty impressive. It talks about when they went public, how fast it shot up. We'll go over more of this when we're deep diving into Roblox. But basically, the stock has taken a hit, but not his pay account. So he got paid $232 million. And that obviously puts him up in the 200 club with a bunch of the other CEOs, which is pretty cool. It's cool in the sense that there's that much money in this project to pay one person working on it. It's a little nerve-wracking because, like when you overpay a quarterback in the NFL, he got, anything that was guaranteed, his hard work is done. He just got paid. So the incentive to really go for the, shoot for the moon, hopefully it's not gone. Hopefully he's got a lot of things in mind and a lot of stuff he wants to do. But for a lot of people, once you hit that mark, that's for work that you've done. And
that ties in a lot to my hook, my punchline there at the beginning. Are they the next Facebook of metaverse, and or are they Meta and gonna eat it big time trying to convert? Right. That's the question. We're gonna get into that.
And we definitely will, because this is not, like we said, this is not a new Web3 product. This is a former video game that's trying to make the jump, or at least has plans to make the jump. So pretty cool, though, to see. That was just 2 days ago that they announced that information, that he locked in a pay package worth $230 million. That's just a crazy amount of money. Also, in the world of all things technology, not specifically Web3, not specifically crypto, but anytime there's Elon Musk news, there's news in this market, because usually what he tweets changes the market. So the fact that most people know this by now, but the fact that he bought enough Twitter stock to put himself on the board of Twitter means his tweets now carry actual weight. He's not somebody that's going to get, banned or silenced or shadowed. You know what I mean? Like, he has just bought his way into the Twitter sphere forever. He's on the board of directors. A lot of people are thinking that this is a super positive move for Twitter, because they seem to have they all lie on one side of the political spectrum. Even if that means going against the general idea of the free speech. And his belief is that Twitter is the one universal open public forum. So it should take a lot more than a couple of mean tweets to get kicked off.
Like a digital, I think he's referred to it as a digital Times Square, or Yeah, there are a couple different. Times Square, like back in the day when people used to meet in the middle of town to talk the news or review or have coffee or whatever it was. But another side note, and this is I don't know how many people know this. This is common knowledge, but Twitter is by far the preferred social media for Web3, blockchain, metaverse, NFTs. So there could definitely be, I'm sure with Elon Musk, there's probably many reasons. We want to believe it's for our own purposes, but there's a pretty strong move, clearly.
Right, right. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily, it's not a direct move in that direction, but everything Elon does affects the crypto market and a lot of other markets. So this was pretty, I think what Twitter went up 40% when he announced that he had bought that much. So anything he does moves financial markets, and he is heavily involved, obviously, in the crypto market, which moves Web3 markets and all that stuff. So very cool to see, very interesting to see what will happen next. I don't think he's going to jump right in and change anything immediately. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but it'll be nice having somebody on that side that you see the stuff that he tweets and the stuff that goes through his brain. It'll be nice having one of them at the top instead of just a board full of suits. So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. And like I said, anytime he texts or tweets about Dogecoin, you can get a 20 to 50% swing. So whatever pops into his head, it'll be important to stay on top of it because you might make or lose a lot of money real quick.
Yeah, no doubt.
Third and final news for today, although as I was reading into this kind of stuff, I thought I might have an idea for another whole episode based strictly on these things. So the article was, you want to do stuff in the real world and get paid digital tokens. And then they
Yes.
had a whole bunch of different programs, apps, projects that are going. I haven't looked into all of these because I've seen enough of them that I thought that's a great idea. One, because I'm involved in several of them. A couple of these I cannot get involved in until I'm back in the States. But the one I'm involved in, one of the ones I'm involved in right now is called XYO, the coin app.
Yes.
And that's the geospatial mapping, where you use one of these sentinels or the little card that goes with it, and it hooks up to the GPS on your phone. And as you drive around, it makes a map and it sends it back. And so you're geo mining these little areas all over wherever I drive. And then you get paid coins in relation to how much you're mapping and how much you're staking on there. I know when we first started talking about doing this channel, one of the things that I'd mentioned was that XYO just made the initial jump. I'd been doing it for years, kind of half-heartedly. And then my brother got a hold of me one day and said, "Oh my gosh, are you seeing what's happening?" And he had premium XYO. I was just doing the free version, but he got up to about $70,000 in a matter of a week. And mine, once it got above 2,000, I was so happy because I'd only ever done the free stuff. So I made 2,000 and I sold. And then if I check it every now and then, if I hadn't sold, it'd be up over 24,000 right now. So another swing and a miss for me by selling too early. That was the last time. That was when I said, never again will I sell too early on any of these projects. And since then I've been holding. I got back into XYO full time. I turn that thing on if I'm walking across the street to the store because I'm trying to earn as much of that coin as possible. But they have several different ones of these. I looked into a little bit this Hive mapper right here. It's the same thing as like a Google car. So when you're driving around in the Google car and you're mapping it, and that way you can go onto Google Maps and do your own, and actually see the street view. This is the decentralized version of it. So you'll be able to have your camera up and driving around, and it's mapping where you're going, what the roads look like, and then you're earning crypto on top of that. There's a couple of different walk-in ones. Helium is it's basically a Wi-Fi router for your house. You pay for internet, hook up this Wi-Fi router, and then anybody within the range of your house can hook up to free Wi-Fi, or I think it's probably not free Wi-Fi, it's some sort of paid Wi-Fi, but because you're letting them use it, you're earning helium tokens, which is another great idea, especially if you live in a heavy populated area. Yeah. If you live downtown or in an apartment building or something like that, you can host one of these Wi-Fi hotspots and earn crypto. So this is where we're starting to merge. When everybody says it's the metaverse, are you in the metaverse or are you over here in the old internet or the real world? This is where it all starts to merge together. When people say, well, I don't want anything to do with that. If you just hooked up to that Wi-Fi at the coffee spot, you're probably a part of it because he's getting paid. You know what I mean? Like the web that it's building is blurring the lines between what's in the real world, what's in the old internet, and what's in Web3. So very cool. There's also a lot of projects, and this is why I thought we should probably do a whole episode on it. It's because there's a couple other projects that I'm involved in right now. Two of them they don't even have blockchains yet, but you're earning in-game tokens or coins. And then the idea is for eventually the whole project to go on a blockchain. And I'm staying with those because I don't want to miss it like I missed with XYO's initial jump. So I'm trying to earn it now, because back when I first started doing XYO, this will give you an idea. I was putting away, driving for 2 weeks. I was depositing about $7 or $8 worth of XYO per 2 weeks. So I'd earn enough coins.
That's when you were Ubering?
Yeah, when I was Ubering, I was earning all these tokens, but they were worth so little. It was like every couple of weeks I'd throw in 10 or 15 bucks worth of XYO into the wallet. Well, after I sold, but when the price ran up in November, those deposits, you can go back and look at them, were worth $800, $900, $1,200 every 2 weeks. I was making more money with the crypto. I mean, like double the amount of money with the crypto I was earning than the Uber I was earning. So very, very, very disappointing that I didn't see that coming and didn't try harder. But again, that's what I've got, a walk-in app, and then I've got some different networking apps that every day you're just using them and doing stuff with them, and you're earning these tokens and you're earning these coins. So it is my ambition that in the future they will be worth a lot of money. And I think there's enough of them that we could probably do an interactive how to earn crypto in the real world, do a whole episode on different projects like that.
Yeah, you're talking utility. That's right up my alley. If a project or a token or whatever has got some utility, especially if it's got multiple utility, I am in.
Absolutely. Utility is the perfect way to put it, because there's the projects like Dogecoin that are popular because they're popular and have value because people value them. But then there are real projects out there that are already so much more useful than a Dogecoin, but they're so much less popular that they're way underpriced. The stuff that we're doing with Next Earth and like the stuff that XYO and Hive Mapper are going to be able to do for especially a real world simulation to tie it into an actual world, the geolocating and stuff. There's a lot of possibilities there, and it's real exciting. And I think we've got a whole episode coming up with real world to Web3 projects.
Yes. Yeah. I'm in. We can do it. Let's do that next week. No, we'll talk about it. But
we will talk about it. That's why, as I started looking more into it, I was like, okay, I just realized that I've got 3 projects that it's not even mentioning right here that I'm involved in. And I thought, and my oldest brother had just asked me about helium because he lives in a heavily densely populated area. And so he was thinking about getting one of those to start earning some. That's the brother that earned 70, 80 grand on XYO because he didn't sell. So he's got a truckload of XYO, and he was asking me about his next step, which was helium. And I said, I can't do it over here, but looking forward to doing those kind of projects when I get back to the States.
You said, thanks, brother. We'll cover that on the MetaMentors and
Exactly.
get that out for the people.
Yeah, I need to, when he hooks something like that up, we'll have him on that episode and do
Yeah.
a little interview with him. So
yeah, little brother rousing there.
We'll have him on. I'll put a filter on him.
yeah, there we go.
But that's it for the news for today.
That's it for the news. Well, we toyed around with doing some MetaMask usage and some of that. Do we want to try and tackle that today?
We can. We've got two options. One, I made a video a couple hours ago. I'm glad I did, because once I sent some money over to the wallet, it said it should be there within 6 hours. So I'm glad we didn't try to do this live, but I have a pretty good video set up. I can just push play on that and let me walk you through it, or I can mute it and we can walk through it and talk about it as we go. Do you have a preference?
I do not. Whatever you think.
All right. I'm going to just let myself do the earlier narration, the one that I did. But if you have something, just signal me and I'll hit the pause button. It's fairly quick, but it walks through what we talked about was how to acquire some smooth love potion on account of you can't get it in most of the American-based exchanges like Coinbase. Any of the basic ones, it's hard to get. So you got to go to a decentralized, you got to flip it, you got to swap it. So we're going to send it from Coinbase to KuCoin and actually buy, I think it's about 4,600 smooth love potions.
Yeah.
So
let's do it. Let's actually see some actual usage, some actual, I'm getting hit up all the time about I've got some crypto. What's my next step? And I tell them, hey, do you know what MetaMask is? And I get the blank look every time. So let's see it. This ought to help out.
All right, here we go. Play. So what we're in right here, this is Coinbase Online. You can do this on your phone, obviously. I'll put my finger on the pause button if you need anything. We're on Coinbase Online, the website. You can do all this stuff on your phone, but as far as getting the video onto the computer, I figured this was the easiest way rather than recording over my shoulder while I played on my phone.
Yeah.
But all this stuff, it's basically the same thing in the app, just this is a more blown out, expanded view of it. So we're in the assets right here in Coinbase, and I'm explaining that you can look up the price of Smooth Love Potion. You can look up the price of almost anything in the Coinbase exchange, even if over here you see you can't buy it on Coinbase. That's because of the rules. Coinbase has to keep their nose clean. They've got the know your customer and the rules on what they can and cannot exchange. So you can't buy it on here, but you can view the price. It's just over 2 cents. They suggest you use the Coinbase wallet and swap it. We're going to use the KuCoin app because that's what I had set up and that's the easiest. I also think that's one of the ones that is one of the easier ones to get into, and it has a lot of the smaller project coins. So when you hear about the new ones and the early ones and the ones that you could buy 50 bajillion coins for $20, KuCoin's got a lot of those options. That's a good exchange. And then you could take them from KuCoin, send them to MetaMask, or even send them back to a Coinbase wallet, depending on how you have your stack set up.
And KuCoin is just for token acquisition and holding. Is that correct? You can't hold NFTs or virtual land or anything.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
just an exchange like Coinbase, although it's smaller and decentralized. So they've got a lot more riskier projects. They are taking the risk, but they're smaller, so they have to do something to put them on the playing field with Coinbase. Right. But yeah, They don't. As far as I know, I don't hold any NFTs or anything. All of my stuff goes to my MetaMask once I swap it in KuCoin. So
gotcha.
First thing I'm going to do in KuCoin is look up the address for my Dogecoin. So I've got Dogecoin that I'm going to turn into Smooth Love Potion. So I'm going to send my Dogecoin from Coinbase to KuCoin and then actually trade it on the market. I'm looking for the wallet right now on KuCoin. Here's my wallet that you can send Dogecoin to. Keep this in mind if you want to send Dogecoin this way. I'm going to copy this and then jump back over to Coinbase. I'm sending all my Dogecoin from Coinbase, which is only $102. You put in right over here, you can see the address it's going in. Underneath it's a note. You don't have to leave a note. I always leave a note for myself just in case I look back on it later. I'm going to buy Smooth Love Potion.
Just in case you had too many Mountain Dews the night before and
right, if I'm trying to figure out
transactions.
Exactly. If I'm trying to figure out what in the world went wrong last night. The good news is $102 worth of Dogecoin is just less than 700 Doge. The network fee is 1.4 Doge. That's dirt cheap. That's about a quarter. So very nice. It does say estimated to receive in about 6 hours. I about choked on that. You can see right here, got to hit in the two-factor authentication. Everywhere you go on this, they make you do that to make sure that you're not getting hacked Axie style. The little note says it takes about 6 hours. It takes 21 minutes. I timed it. 21 minutes later, it shows up in the KuCoin account right here in the main account. We have 698 Doge. And actually with the price of Doge must have just trickled up because we basically have all of our money back from what we sent. So it was a small fee anyway, but always cool. Here's another password down here, the trading password. This is in KuCoin's market. So what we're going to do is sell the Doge. We can sell all of the Doge. I keep forgetting to put in a price. You got to put in the price right here that you want to sell it for. It won't let you sell it unless you do. I just about sold it for a fraction of a penny. Glad I didn't do that. Go up here, you hit that button, it auto-fills the project. It's selling it for 14.5 cents. Sell all the Doge. That little sign that pops up right there tells you it was successful, and then you hear a cha-ching if you're in the video. So now we have USDT. That's the tethered coin. That's what we can actually buy the Smooth Love Potion with. We couldn't swap it straight up for Doge. Not on KuCoin anyway. So now we're going to go.
Yeah, USDT, that's tethered to the actual US dollar, the cryptocurrency version of it. So so you sold the Doge into that. Now you're going to purchase the Smooth Love Potion.
Smooth Love Potion. And there it is right there. Smooth Love Potion to USDT. That brings us back over to the markets. Here's the charts for Smooth Love Potion. Now I'm going to just 100% of what I can buy. I think the price right now was 2.1 cents and some change. I just put 0.22 to make sure I got it all. That gives us over 4,600 Smooth Love Potions.
Yes.
So order is successful. On KuCoin, you have a trading account and a main account. I think one's more of an exchange and one is more of a wallet. So you can take it off and throw it into your main account if it makes you feel safer. But basically, $102.53. We got $101 worth of Smooth Love Potion and had $1 in tether left over. So the fees on that were negligible. It cost almost nothing to get it. Now we have the Smooth Love Potion. In the original video here, I'm saying that I'm going to leave it in the exchange because my plan is next time it runs up, to sell it and buy some of the shards, which are the tokens, the governance tokens for Axie. And that's what I'll actually put into my MetaMask for the long-term hold.
Right.
So,
but you could, But the cool part about that is like the Smooth Love Potion, your plan is to, once it goes up, buy shards, the governance token, which it seems like when you hear somebody talk about projects, the governance token is a lot of times where you want to be, with the exception
long-term holds.
Yeah. If you're playing the game, then you might want the Smooth Love Potion or whatever. But what's really great about this is the smooth love potion or the shards is designated for Axie Infinity. But if you have somebody that came along that was going to do some work for you, and they said, "Hey, you know what? I'm into Axie Infinity. Do you got any smooth love potion?" You could just send that way, and I'll mow your yard for that, or whatever the project is. So it's a project designated token, but it could be used for anybody that's looking to gain some of that token. It could be used for all sorts of different stuff.
I can tell you this, you can't send what I just sent to myself. You can't send somebody else that kind of money through PayPal or anything like that with the goods and services, and not pay a higher fee. There are some, Venmo and stuff like that you can, but doing this, it's on the blockchain, it's registered, it's official. I know I've told you this before, but I've got a couple of guys that do some writing for me, and I pay them in Dogecoin, and it's Dogecoin that I bought back when it was 3 and 4 cents a coin. And I pay them based on the 15, 16 cent Dogecoin, which is really nice, which means I'm already getting 40, 50, well, shoot, more than that. It's very discounted work, but they would rather get paid in it because they have English bank accounts. So rather than me withdrawing money in America and converting it to England, losing that conversion rate, and then all the stuff it would take to swap it and get it into their bank account, I can send it from my wallet to their wallet quickly, and no troubles, no borders. Nobody has to know. It's in my decentralized wallet. Now it's in theirs. They do the work. It's perfect.
Yeah. That is really pretty genius, just to watch that happen. And just as a recap, you owned Dogecoin in Coinbase. You sold, or basically you transferred that over to KuCoin, then sold it within KuCoin, got the USDT, which is the tether to the US dollar, and then you just purchased Smooth Love Potion from there.
Yeah, and now what I could have done was sold the Dogecoin in Coinbase, but that Coinbase main exchange has a little bit higher of a fee when you're swapping in that app, just because it's more used and it's easier. It's the basic starter package, so they can charge a little bit more because that's usually people's first entry into the game. But if you send it to a smaller exchange, they usually charge less fees. So I sent the Dogecoin over before converting it, sold it, and then ended up buying it in the KuCoin.
Now, if I remember right, sorry to cut you off. If I remember right, I don't think you can have KuCoin in the US. I think I tried to set up KuCoin and it wouldn't allow me to do it because of regulations. And I might be wrong. I may be thinking, actually, let me take that back. I know I have it downloaded, but when I went to try and buy a currency, it wouldn't allow me to do that. I was thinking it was all the tokens it wouldn't allow, but it might have been just a specific one I was trying to buy. But there's a bunch of different. One of our early episodes, you presented multiple options as far as some of the smaller entities like KuCoin that you could buy tokens with.
Right. I'm pretty sure you can buy Smooth Love Potions in crypto.com, which I think is an American one. I know there's a lot of them. I thought KuCoin was one, but I know that some of them are coming and going. I used to be able to use Binance over here, but now I can't use any Binance in England. But if you were in America, they have a Binance US, and I'm not sure what all you can buy on there, but you have to be outside of the UK or the US to use the Binance full version. So it changes as legislation changes. Not that this needs to be said right now, but it is real important who you vote for and who you elect into these offices, because the more your money Binance gave me a warning saying that because the rules had changed, the UK was not going to allow me to log in anymore, and told me I had a week to clear out my accounts, or I'd have to, basically, I'm sure you can use a VPN and there's ways to get around it. But basically they said, hey, before you're not allowed to get to it, you might want to send this somewhere else. But it's super important because all it is a couple of people who really don't know what they're talking about with the blockchain making these rules on who can access it from where. And it's just so ridiculous because, like I said, it's so easy for me to pay a person in England with Dogecoin. It goes like that. It doesn't make any sense to regulate it, but they're trying nonetheless. So you got to find one of your exchanges. Coinbase is usually available, I think, pretty
Yeah.
much worldwide,
Yep. I use
because
Coinbase Pro.
they're so limited on what they can offer. They're available everywhere because they only do the stuff that won't get them banned or blocked. But then you're going to need to find one or two smaller exchanges where you can find these long shot projects and these ones that have a little bit different rules, because I think Ripple's still banned on Coinbase. I could be wrong, but that's a huge project. But because of the nature of the product that they're selling, it's not available on Coinbase, but you can use it on every other exchange or hold it in a wallet.
Yeah.
You can hold anything on any decentralized wallet, but somehow you gotta find a way to get it. Even if, and I've done this, I don't think this is illegal, but some of the English people here that don't have access to certain cryptos on exchanges that they can get to, I've bought them and just sent them over to their wallet. So you can hold it in a wallet anywhere in the world. It's how you get a hold of the crypto, whether you go to an exchange or whether you buy from a trusted third party, which is hard to do, especially around the world, because usually the people are in the same jurisdiction that you are.
Yeah.
So they're unavailable to get anything that you're not able to. So
yeah,
we might do a top 10 currency exchanges, or something, maybe top 5 exchanges that are available in America. We might tag that on to one of these episodes coming up, because it's important to have that. Like I said, I had 5 or 6 when I got here, and because of the rules changing, I'm down to 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So it's important to have a couple of options. That way, when something pops up, like I said, with Smooth Love Potion, you got to go, well, it's not on this one. It's not on this one. Okay, it's on this one. And then if you find out you're not allowed to get into that one anymore, then you're out of luck. So
yeah, it's a new technology. It's a new way of life. It takes some work. I know. I wish I would have been able to screen record every process I went through to get, the foundation set to be able to buy assets, tokens, virtual land, NFT, all of that stuff, because it is cumbersome. Once you know what to do, it's not near as bad. But if you're somebody that doesn't have any tech background like me, it's a real struggle to figure it out. And honestly, I couldn't do it if it wasn't for YouTube. So,
right.
It's just the resource, but it's totally worth it as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. In some of our earlier videos, we even talked about, we haven't gone over how to set up a wallet or how to get into an exchange, but a lot of our earlier videos, we tagged a couple of very simple videos on YouTube just from other YouTubers on how to set up a MetaMask wallet, because that's kind of the start of the game, is to get some sort of a wallet where you can start to acquire these. You're probably better off if you're less technically inclined, because then if you get something, you're more likely to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Like, why worry about selling it and trying to flip it and flop it and turn it into this and this and this? If you just hang on to it, the nature of the industry is increasing. So the longer you hold on to it, the better off you'll do. If you're just getting started, like we've showed in these episodes, I'm just acquiring some of these metaverse projects and I'm just sending them to my long-term wallet. I've got no intentions of selling them or trying to make a quick buck on them. I'm holding on for the long term. So
yeah, that's definitely the play, I think, for sure. Well, let's if you're good, we'll jump back into Roblox, into the story of Roblox. I led in with, is this the Facebook of the metaverse? And it's kind of double-edged there, because I think just about everybody knows what Roblox is, even if they haven't spent any time on it. At least if you're around kids or have kids, you definitely know it is a huge, huge deal for the younger generation, just like Facebook is for the older generation. But also, like Facebook, trying to enter the metaverse world, they are almost too big to make that move, to pivot. And a lot of what I've seen with Roblox is similar. Now they have a much more advantage because technically they were probably a metaverse already, depending on what your definition of that is. I think we can agree that Roblox was really already a metaverse. And
not really a Web3 or a blockchain base, but absolutely a metaverse.
Right. And so what's interesting is, our firm belief and everything we're seeing is everything is going to the Web3 blockchain model, and Roblox is not set up that way. And they've actually fought back against it a little bit just because they have a good thing going. They're not in a hurry to change anything because they're cashing it in. So Roblox was created in 2004. It was originally called Dynablocks. It was created by two guys. It became Roblox in September. Well, it became Roblox in 2005, and then it was released in September of 2006. And it really didn't do anything crazy for a long time. It just, slowly built. And then after 2010, it started to get a lot more traction. And then when COVID came around in 2020, like so many other online deals or metaverses, it skyrocketed. So roughly now there's 165 million users a month. Most of that is 13 years and younger. So that's changing rapidly. But to put that in perspective, 2 out of every 3 kids between the age of 6 and 16 within the U.S., so 2 out of 3 within the age 6 and 16 in the U.S. have a Roblox account. Now, what's interesting is it's been around long enough that the age group 17 to 24 is getting real close to becoming the major population within it. So they're about to take over the 13 and under. Clearly, a lot of that is because these kids were, youngsters when it started, maybe got introduced to it, started into it in the early age or years, and have just gone along with it and have grown up with it and are just becoming older. But that's not the total case because it's very popular for that 17 to 24-year-old age group. So we're seeing a mass populace moving in there. So there might be some opportunities there. It just went, what's the word I'm looking for? It went from private to public.
It's just public. Yeah. It just had its IPO.
Yeah. And it was, they valued it at $45 billion for a metaverse game. Some interesting numbers in 2020, developers that were involved in this, in Roblox, and I'm going to show some stuff in here. The developers made a roughly about $150 million in revenue. That's not people that actually are involved in the game. This is just people like me and you, or people that are playing it or going in there and creating stuff. Made $150 million revenue in 2020. The game itself, or metaverse itself, Roblox, made $2.2 billion in revenue in 2020.
Yeah, so it's like Horizon Worlds. They have a builder that you can go in and build your own little world and your own little simple games. Then you have the option of whether or not you want to monetize them for their in-game dollars, the Robux. And so a lot of those creators have made these super simple and super cheap games, but everybody's got the in-game Robux blocks. Is it Roblox or Robux? It must be Robux.
Robux.
That makes sense. Robux, yeah. So then you could pay these little fractional Robux and play these games. So the people who are making the games on Roblox are making a lot of money, which is awesome. That's one of the things that's one of the aspects of our making money in the metaverse areas, besides just buying the tokens. So
yeah, 100%. And that's, I'm getting into that real quick. Another point is they partnered with Oculus in 2016. And there's currently, at that point, there was over 10 million games that were 3D. 10 million games. How nuts is that? So that was a huge partnership. They've cleared as far as, let me go back here. So let's get into some of the income opportunities with this. And something I want to say up front is something that was very attractive for me with Roblox is if you have young kids, chances are they're clearly already playing Roblox or developing and doing stuff in there. So here's an opportunity that you could create, some income and hang out with your kids doing it. And honestly,
Oh.
I know for my household, my kids are going to be the more creative. They're going to know better what people are wanting within that game, than what my in the box thinking has. So it would be a really good opportunity to team up with your kids and create, some stuff in there, maybe make some income and at least have some quality time and have fun doing it.
100%. When I was looking up information, videos on Roblox, the age demographic was very obvious. There were very little adults talking about this and trying to listen to a 14-year-old explain Roblox. There was one that was trying to explain Roblox turning into a metaverse, and I about punched the computer. It was so frustrating. This kid had the attention span of a squirrel, and he just kept, oh no, and he kept making funny voices and having stuff pop in on the video. And I thought, this is what you have to pay attention to, because like you said, if 2 out of 3 of every kid have an account on the deal, then this is the type of people and the type of attention, you know what I mean? This is the type of attention that they're getting and giving. So we need to at least figure it out to a point to where we can figure out how to invest in it.
Right, exactly. And that's what that's what we're attempting to do on this channel, at least partially, and starting is with these metaverses. So, there's different predictions all over, but according to, what the Roblox is doing, or at least this article, they're calling the metaverse an $800 billion opportunity, not just Roblox, but the whole metaverse thing itself. There's a lot of people that I've seen numbers before, and there's many people that are saying it's in the trillions. Clearly, huge opportunities here. Major names that have jumped on with Roblox. Why would you not? With 165 million monthly users. I even saw something that said that's as many as 50 million a day, which is a jump. It was like it was in the low 30s prior to COVID or 2020, something like that. It's jumped up to like 50 million a day. So you may have 165 a month, but a third of that are getting on there daily almost. So that is extremely impressive numbers once you start looking at different metaverse models, how many per month compared to how many of those are actually on there daily. So a bunch on Roblox. And as you're going to get into with the gameplay, it's no wonder why, because there's no shortage of things to do on there. Getting into the actual opportunities to make some income, there's basically, again, it's limited to your imagination, but the main stuff here is either creating, like mostly clothes or weapons or stuff like that. But clothes is the one that comes up a lot for other people's avatars. You can go in here and create stuff to sell. I even saw where there's like a outdoor painting booth area where people are making digital art or pixel art and then selling their pixel art, and also buying. And one guy was actually buying pixel art at one spot, going down and putting it up for sale and selling it for a profit at another spot. So, I mean, pretty creative there. But creating, basically making clothes articles or other things that people's avatars can use is a big part of where there's opportunity. This guy made $1.4 million from selling virtual items. That was in 2021. He made $800,000 in 2020. And this article actually goes on to tell you that they verified the income with him, and that was his net. That was after, expenses. Now, if you're creating digital, things to sell, I don't know how much in expenses you got other than the computer stuff and things like that. But a lot of that I think is a one time. Now, I'm sure like all businesses, there's probably more cost involved than I realize, but there's not a whole lot compared to regular.
I'm hoping that one day the MetaMentors YouTube channel is so successful that we're having to find a lot of write-offs, and I'm having to get new computers. You need a new computer, new sound system. You know what I mean? I hope I'm going to need a home theater to really see these videos, all these different business write-offs. I know there's not a lot on creating digital items, but hopefully you can find us some ways to get some more write-offs. So
I'm
that's the
already
plan.
thinking about it for sure.
All right.
I think I'm already on that. So here's this guy here. I'm crediting his talents to his turtleneck, and
That's what I was going to say. That was the first thing I noticed.
He was either going to get rich playing piano or creating virtual things to sell. So
yeah, he looks like Dwight Schrute's little brother.
Right. But he's at not all people are making this, but he's at the top. There was another individual. So you can create these clothes or whatever it is. It's open to your imagination, sell, but you can also go in there and develop all these games. And like you mentioned before, that's why there's all these games, is because anybody can go in there and actually develop them. Now, there's a little bit of a cost to go in there and actually start developing that stuff because you need their designer program. But like we've seen in other metaverses, it's supposed to be very simple, low cost. You can go in there, start designing games. I was reading an article about one developer who started playing it as a kid in 2007 and then grew up with it and then started developing their own game. And I can't remember the name of it now, but the game she's developed has become one of the more popular ones. And it's been played over 5 billion times since she created. I think she made it in 2017, I think. So about 5 years.
The one where you pet the digital animals? Is that the chick?
I don't remember it talking about that. I was trying to see if I had that article saved here. I don't remember. I don't know if it actually even told me in the article I was reading. But her name was like Call Me Boob or Bob or something, like that, if that rings a bell. So when you're selling these items, 70% of that revenue you earn as the developer or the creator, and you're paid in Robux, which can be transferred over or traded over for dollars or other currency, but you're paid in Robux, but you get 70% as the developer, the creator of that. 30% stays with Roblox, the game. So 70-30 split there.
That's good for everybody, really. When you think about the ability to, like I said, walk on and start doing it. And that's good for that's the reason why Roblox is valued at what it is, because it's not as open. It's not like the NFTs that you can bring and take and come and go. It's a very closed system right now. So even the Robux, that's all in game. You're not taking that out and swapping it anywhere, at least without several different steps. I mean, you can exchange it for whatever you want, but it's not a crypto in the sense that everything else is a crypto where you can easily exchange it at an OpenSea or a decentralized exchange.
Right. And that's probably a good lead into the fact that, the way that I read into it is everybody knows that Web3, the metaverse, blockchain, NFTs is the way of the future, at least a big part of it. But when you're a big entity like Roblox or Metaverse, or Meta, Facebook, it's very hard to pivot out of what you're doing. And that's even if you're attempting to do that. Roblox is again 50 million users a day, bringing in $2.29 billion in 2021. So clearly they know they got to transition some or take advantage of it, but they're a little bit hesitant. So what they're basically doing is some of their smaller games, they're allowing NFTs to be a part of. And basically these NFTs are coming from outside entities. They're not being created in here like some of our metaverses or games. You actually make them within. These are actually being allowed to come in from the outside. This one here, like you just mentioned, Pet Simulator is one of the ones that they're allowing. And funny enough, Pet Simulator is like number 2 or 1 or 2 of the most popular games right now, or, entertainments. I think they stopped carrying, like a lot of them, they're not calling them games anymore. They're calling them experiences. Right. But so there's a little restriction there. So, our channel, we're focused on the Web3, the metaverse, the blockchain, stuff like this. This, like Meta, is just outside of that realm. They're playing with it a little bit more because of the opportunities there. And, but who knows if they'll actually be able to successfully make that full conversion into the metaverse world and Web3, or what I shouldn't say metaverse. Clearly they're a metaverse, but making it into the Web3 blockchain.
Yeah, I think that they are taking advantage of the buzzwords going on right now. I think that everybody's eventually going to get over there some way or another. But I don't think, like you said, I don't think they're in a hurry with the amount of money they're bringing in per month and having it on a closed system. There's no need for them to allow free NFTs or NFTs purchased somewhere else to come in. So I think they're kicking around the word metaverse, and they're allowing, they're letting some stuff happen to kind of test the waters. But this isn't going to be a quick transition. It's very interesting in the metaverse sense. One, because it's kind of introducing a lot of the younger generation. Somebody said on one of the videos I was watching, they had like a 10-year plan to eventually start working that way, but they're starting to kick around the words and the terms and kind of getting the 10-year-olds who are playing it right now ready, because then when they're 18 or 20 and they're thinking metaverse and everything's metaverse at that point, their mind is just going to be stuck on Roblox specifically.
Right.
So
similar to
long game for them.
Similar to what is happening with Facebook and Meta, people that are unaware, they say, they hear metaverse, they think that is Facebook.
Right. Which is why Facebook changed their name to Meta, because it's like, yeah, the people who could care less when they're like metaverse. Oh yeah, I've already got Facebook. You know what I mean? Like oh yeah, that's they're making it one and the same. It's like when people start you talk to some people and a Dogecoin is the same as a Bitcoin because they have no clue. It's all the same thing. It's all fake money. So
yeah. I'll end with today. Of course, our episode won't come out for a few days. So by the time you see this, this will have already passed. But Chipotle is doing their second deal with Roblox. They basically created a game the first time, and then they're creating another game here. And this one, it's a burrito rolling competition. Oh, nice. And to give away free burritos within Roblox. So another example of where some of these creative businesses are coming up with ways to get involved in the metaverse. Here's an actual tangible item, food in this case, that is tying itself into the metaverse. And kind of like you were just saying, Chipotle, they're doing this early on. We know McDonald's is doing a bunch of stuff. A lot of them are getting that way. But if you're entering in a younger generation with Chipotle, if these kids for some reason don't have Chipotle in their area, or don't their parents hate it and don't ever take them, they're going to be growing up with it, recognizing that brand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I could see right there in the article, it said the first 100,000 kids to roll a fake burrito earn enough credit to get a coupon code to buy a real burrito in the real world. And it's like, you're giving them real world rewards for metaverse gameplay. They're just, it's the dopamine effect. You know what I mean? It's positive reinforcement. They're just thinking, oh, this is the way to go. I don't know about all those other metaverses, but this one gave me a free burrito.
Right. Yeah. That goes a long, long way for, kids especially, but a lot of adults also. So that's what I've got as far as the story and the opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity here. Again, I think what was most attractive to me, not being a actual Web3 or blockchain metaverse, is the opportunity. My kids are already on there. I could do some stuff on there with them and actually create some things and maybe sell it or have some fun with it. But that to me, that was the biggest opportunity here. It'll be interesting to see how they grow as far as a metaverse, but they have real world name recognition and branding right now for sure. So I am going to pass it over to you for gameplay, unless you have some final thoughts on that too.
No, that was about it that I could think of on what you were talking about. I think, like we talked, I think the metaverse is a term that that they're really hanging on right now because that's a hot word right now. I think that Roblox is a long way away from blockchain in it and at least doing their own NFTs. They'll allow some stuff because they at least understand that somebody's got to figure out what works best. And so if they can let some people on their platform deal with it in smaller amounts that doesn't affect their bottom line or their shareholders, then they will allow it. And if something takes off, then boom, it happened on their closed system and they are now in control of it and they can do their own thing very similar to it.
Yeah.
So I like the way they're doing it. And as far as a publicly owned company that you can go buy stock in right now, that's a good way. It's not Web3, but it's definitely in the vein of all the projects that we're talking about. And it could be an even better long-term play because right now it's a very profitable video game company. In fact, one of the things that I've got on the gameplay was a list of the largest video game companies. This list looks a little bit dated because like Activision, I'm pretty sure was purchased by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So Roblox was number 10, but even behind names like Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft, I mean, that's the list you want to be on. I found another one that talked about the most valuable games and not including Microsoft because this was after the Microsoft Activision acquisition. So this was the next 5 that might be purchased by Microsoft. Tencent is the one that does a lot of the mobile games, a lot of the PUBG and stuff like that. Sony, NetEase, which is Asian games, and 4 is Nintendo, and 5 is Roblox. So because of its IPO, it says that it's more valuable now because now it can get institutional investments. It's got the ability to accept a lot more money than some of these smaller projects. But to be the 5th on the list of worldwide gaming companies, that's a lot of money and that's a lot of potential because it's at 44 and the top one's at 562. So you're looking at 12 to 15 times if they get as big as 10, as Tencent, which is kind of how we do a lot of the projecting with the numbers and the market caps of the projects we're looking at. This is outside the metaverse world, but all of these games are going to start finding ways to get into it, or at least offering NFTs and perhaps even some sort of a crypto, which is pretty cool.
I said it just makes too much sense.
Oh, yeah, exactly. These different metaverses. 700 million views on YouTube is nothing to sneeze at. So Kanye West and Lil Pump. This is actually a couple years old too. So Roblox has been around for a while, and the fact that it is just now starting to dip into at least the Web3 conversation is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely headed in the right direction, it seems like.
Yes. I've got a few things on the gaming, the actual gameplay of Roblox. It's a lot like Sandbox and Decentraland, like you were talking about. People can go in and make these games. Also, companies can get in and make these games. There's a lot of the builders. There's a lot of opportunities. You can make real simple games or you can make real intricate games. You can obviously tell the graphics are a little blocky, but we went over this before because there's so much going on, because there's so much room to roam, and there's so much, everything is 360 3D virtual. You can't make it real movie quality just yet because, you've got 15-year-olds in here making games like this. This is called Kaiju Warrior, and that's where you play Godzilla and you get to fight other Godzillas and you get to go smash up these towns. And so there's just all these different experiences that you can play. The Roblox is like the Xbox or the PlayStation. It's not the game, it's the platform to which you can go and make the game. And one of the experiences they're really working on, like several of the projects we've looked at, is they're really trying to get into the social media aspect. They're building in basically, you kind of touched on it, the Facebook of the metaverse. They want to be everything for these 2 out of 3 kids right now. They're trying to build in their future customer base to where you do your social media, you do your video watching, you do your game playing, you do your learning. Everything you can do on Roblox. And right now, with the millions of games and experiences they have, they're already doing it. So the bigger this company grows and the more people get to using it, the more intricate these games are going to be. Intricate and simple, but more catchy, more addictive for sure.
Yeah, I saw, and it seems to be a natural progression. I was reading about, of course, how with COVID, everybody confined, and especially in dense populated areas, confined to their homes. Especially, that's how these kids were, that's how they were socializing, was through the games, and a lot of even adults. So that part just definitely makes sense. And I also saw I saw like a first person shooter game that the graphics were actually really pretty impressive. Like they some of them they get really, they're pretty competitive as far as the details.
And so I'm not sure if the Roblox company makes some of the games, makes some of the experiences, because there's definitely been like a next level game in some of these that looks more professional, more than just the experiences. But the fact that you have the opportunity to get in and make these experiences, like you were talking about the girl that made one, and that's one of the ways right now you're earning Robux, which is an in-game dollar. But they, at least most game systems like this, once you buy into their dollar, it's in the game and it's gone. But this, you can buy, you can take, you can trade in the game, and then you can actually cash out. So people are able to cash out in the currency they bought in. So it would make sense to me, at least as a user, that one day they make it to where you can exchange it. I don't want to pull it out in US dollars, but I would love some Litecoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin. Looks like they've got a Ouija board here. I'm out on that.
Yeah. There was some, of course, with any of these,
and that makes sense. If you've got 10 million experiences and you've got 50,000 people making the games, you're going to have your choice of games that you find really interesting and games you probably don't want anything to do with. So
yeah.
But basically, like we said, the game system, the game experience is a platform. You're going into this. This is less of a social media right now and more of a game platform, like a Steam or trying to think. They've got a Netflix of video games. You going into this, you're finding the game you want to play. You're playing it. Some of these people are socializing on it. And so Roblox is working on building out their social media aspect. But that's where it's going. If you wanted to invest in this, it came out last year. RBLX is their
ticker symbol.
Their ticker symbol, RBLX, and it got up to $130 shortly after their IPO, but it's down right now. Today it was at 45. So this is another one that at least has a traditional manner of investing. If you wanted to invest in it and you didn't have any crypto, I mean, it doesn't have a crypto that you can buy. So you would buy the RBLX, $45 a stock right now. And I'd say it's got a lot of room to grow, especially since it's been up to 130 already. And when you hear the numbers, like I said, on how much they're paying their CEO and how much money they're bringing in every year, and they've got, users building the actual playable packages, saving a lot of money on overhead.
Yeah. You got them all doing people doing the work for you.
Well, yeah, that's it's like what you were talking about. I mean, you're going to buy some computers and stick them in your basement and get your kids to work.
Yeah,
building experiences on Roblox. Make daddy.
Why else would you have kids? You get out there, mow the yard, shovel that drive, build me a game.
Yes, now build me a digital money making machine in the basement.
Man, yeah, a lot happening. It's it's a metaverse. It's a big one. It's a little bit different, but it has the staying power and huge potential, like you said. Upland, we're going to do Upland next week. This one kind of came out of left field. One of our friends hit me up with basically hit me up and said, "Hey, what do I need to know about this metaverse thing? This guy wants me to pay him in Upland coin." So we'll jump into how to pay your contractors with Upland tokens next week, and we're going to cover the metaverse too. So this is one I didn't know anything about until our buddy Tim said, "Help me! How do I figure this out? I know this metaverse thing is taking off. I want in."
Well, this is how I knew that their marketing had worked. When you said Upland, I thought, well, I don't know anything about Upland. But there is this ad that keeps popping up on Facebook with the llama. That's all I know about Upland. And then sure enough, it ended up being the same one. So Upland, you've probably seen it on social media advertisements, but here's the trailer for it. This will lead us out for the day. Upland.
We want to rebuild the world! Rebuild it now! We want to rebuild the world! Rebuild it now! The journey of Upland begins with a crowd of cheering, dancing and marching peaceful llamas. The llamas are celebrating a new world that is rebuilt by llamas for llamas. Introducing Upland, a parallel world that blends with the real one. Purchase virtual properties based on actual addresses and enjoy true ownership powered by blockchain technology. Join Miles B. Chain as he travels around the globe buying, selling, trading property in San Francisco, New York City, Hong Kong, and more. Play Upland by becoming a proud landlord of your dream property, completing collections, finding treasures, and playing piñatas. Earn in Upland, UpX currency for flipping properties, running your own business, and sell digital goods and properties for profit. Connect in Upland by forming and joining squads, meeting other players in cafes and other hangout places. Play, earn, and connect in Upland today. Available on the web, App Store, and Google Play.